Okay, everyone, now that the month of June has come to an end here on this July 2nd day, on this Wednesday, it's time for our June teams of the month. We'll start with Joe with his 5 teams. Who do you have in your 5 teams of the month for the month of June, Joe?
Well, I'm somewhat backwards from number 5.
Start backwards. Okay, tell us.
You won't expect this team to be make the list, but
Okay,
they're starting to win more games.
okay.
It's the Chicago White Sox.
Interesting. Chicago White Sox, I have not thought about that.
Well, they're starting to get hot.
Okay, okay.
They're getting more hits and
Okay.
they're starting to get more runs
Interesting. Okay,
to win
next.
more games. And next team, number 4, is the Tampa Bay Rays.
Tampa Bay Rays, ooh, yeah. That might be something we have in common, maybe, but we'll have to wait and see.
And number 3,
Yeah,
the Houston Astros.
interesting. So I wonder how similar our teams are going to be.
And then number 2,
Uh-huh.
Philadelphia Phillies.
Interesting.
Almost the Flyers.
Almost, yeah, almost there, dude. Almost said that. Yeah, almost said that.
And then the number 1 team
Yeah,
is the Dodgers.
Dodgers. Oh, yeah, I can see why the Dodgers are up there in our top 5 teams of the month. I can see why the Dodgers are in your top 5. But here, my thing is this: I think you have some teams that are similar to me, possibly, but that's something we're going to talk about here in a second. Because I'll go to my top 5 teams of the month. I'll start out number 5. By the way, start number 5, a team that has come alive as of late, being managed by a manager who's won 2 World Series titles, the Cincinnati Reds, and Terry Francona. By the way, my number 5 team of the month. Here's the reason why I think this team is number 5 in the ranking in my top 5 teams of the month, and starting at number 5. And I'll give you the answer on this. Cincinnati Reds for me. Well, I have them at number 5 is this. Just a little back in early June, they were like under 500, if I am correct. And they have caught fire as of late, starting to win. Maybe competing for a wild card in the National League Central race. NL Central has come alive as this month in early June and throughout the month of June. And there's 3 teams that are now above 500 in that division. My number 4 team of the month, though, with the Reds sitting at 44 and 41, even though the Reds are 44 and 41. We're going to talk about the Reds a minute here. I'm going to continue this conversation with the Cincinnati Reds. Why did I have them at number 5? They're interesting to see. And I know this. I know we're going to be in Cincinnati in early on in the month of August to see, but the Cincinnati Reds. You have to go back to May. Or back to June, I guess. If I can find them. Okay, here we are. Back on June 4th. Back on June 4th, the Reds were 30 and 33 on June 4th. They won 5 in a row to get to 35 and 33, and since then, they have spent at least after they won 5 in a row, they have spent at least one day at 500 at least. When they were 35 and 35 on June 13th against the Tigers. Then they beat the Tigers' last 2 games, and since then, they were a game above. They were close to. They have fallen close a few times to being 500, but have not done that. So this is why the Reds are my number 5 team of the month. Next up, number 4 team of the month, the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, I can tell you this about the Brewers. They're a number of those teams. They're 47 and 37 in second place in the National League Central and right behind the Cubs at the moment. And you look at this. The Brewers were 16 and 9 in June. You have to go back to, I believe, you have to go back to May, I believe. You have to go to May, early May, when the Brewers were. Okay, here's what their last time they were under 500. They were 27 and 20. No, okay, I was wrong about that. Last time the Brewers were under 500, they were 29 and 28 on May 28th, and since then, they've gotten above 500 and have 47 wins. So that's why they have the Brewers number 4. And similar about this, teams I have near this division. Following them, number 3, the Toronto Blue Jays, another team that in early June they were under 500, and they've gotten above 500. They're now third place in the division. Hard to believe the Blue Jays were down in fourth place, fifth place earlier this year. Just like another team, I'll explain why they're number 2 in a minute. But the Blue Jays, definitely one of those teams in my number 3 spot. And number 2, Tampa Bay Rays, another team that was good, under 500. They're now a game and a half behind the Yankees, if I am correct, at the moment, going into today. Blue Jays play the Yankees this afternoon at that time I'm recording this on July 1st. So by the time you see this video, the Blue Jays or Yankees, one of them is going to have a win. One of them is going to have a better record than the other by the time you see this video tomorrow morning. But the Rays, another one of those teams who was under 500 earlier this year and last place in the division, have called up to be above 500. And for my number 1 team for the month of June, I have to go with the team. I have to go with the team that I know people don't like. And I know some people, if you watch this, might call me out because this team, they cheated to win a World Series title. I'm talking about the Houston Astros, unfortunately. Houston Astros, they've turned into one of those teams. Earlier this year, they were fighting to stay above 500, but in June, they took off. They now have 50 wins. They won their 50th game, I believe, last night. But they're one of those teams that has taken off, and, the Astros, when they start winning, they can stay hot. Last year, they lost in the wild card round to the Tigers. So we'll see what happens in Houston. I think Houston, this could be one of their years. This might be their window of opportunity to win World Series titles. Could be closing. I thought it was closed after last year, after losing to the Tigers in the wild card round. But the Houston Astros, I think they're coming alive with some new group of players. So we'll see what happens in Houston the rest of the way. So here we have it, our top 5 teams of the month. And I know we had some same teams in there, so...
Yeah.
Any thoughts on my top 5?
No, good. You got good teams.
Yeah. Okay. So that is our top 5 teams in the month for the month of June.